Hey guys, it has been a minute or two since Halloween. That's right. I'm Carshénah with Films and we did a Screamtober for our 31 days of Halloween, and that was a couple of weeks ago. Now we're getting back into the thick of things. We're going to be doing reviews, getting back to that, and I've got 4 movies to review. That's right. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 movies to review, and I'm really excited. So welcome to the channel, all of my newbies. Welcome everyone, all of my horror files. That is right, you have a file at the end of your name if you love horror, just like I do. So right now we're gonna get into it. We are gonna start with 4 films that I think are some of the best ones out there. Well, 3 out of the 4. I watched 4 of these. 3 of these are classics. 3 of these are pretty well known. The other one is not so much well known, but it's bringing me something that I can work with. So I added it to the list. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 films that I'm going to be reviewing. That is The House of the Devil, It Follows, 13 Sins, and The Void. That's right. Those are the films that I'm going to be reviewing. So let's go ahead and check it out. Let's go ahead and start with It Follows. Now, It Follows, when it first came out, it was all the rage of like all these indie filmmakers who thought of something very clever, and it truly really was a clever idea to have a sexual encounter as something scary. And when we do mean a sexual encounter, we really do mean a sexual encounter. Basically something that you cannot see, something that is physical, but is terrifying and horrifying in itself. So as we go along with It Follows, it really puts a little scratching in your noodle, puts a little login in your noggin, to let you know, hey, if you're out there doing the dang on thing, you need to be careful. Why? Because it will follow you, whether it be a crazy girl, crazy guy, crazy situation, whatever it is, scary in itself, it will follow you. Another cool thing about It Follows is that really it's like an everyday situation where if you're doing something and you see something but nobody else can see something, it literally drives you crazy. But then when it finally showed up, and I'm not talking about the clown, but when it finally showed up, everybody was able to see it. Everyone was able to believe what was going on with the situation. So, and I do like old boy who was like, yo, I'm just gonna find some street girl, pass it along to her. You know she gonna pass it along to somebody else, and then bada bing, bada boom, we are safe. But the only problem with that is that even in their line of reasoning of passing it along to even the streetwalkers of streetwalkers, they're not as savvy and smart, I'm sorry to say, to like know to like try to battle this thing. They're probably going to be shut up somewhere in a hole or not go anywhere or turn to whatever they turn to just to dull the pain, and it's not going to go away. Like the thing is going to get them, which means that it finally is going to get to the person that passed it on to them, so on and so forth, and then going back to them. So although it did lead off to sort of a sequel ending of sorts, I think It Follows is probably one of the best horror films like out there. Like even from olden times to like modern times to like my favorite genre of the 80s, I think It Follows really showed the potential of what horror filmmaking can be, especially psychological horror filmmaking. And I'm really excited about that. So check out It Follows, and we're gonna go to the next one. Let's go. So House of the Devil, I mean, the name in itself tells you there's something wicked this way comes. It's set sort of like in a 1970s, 1980s sort of old school sort of horror films that you would go and see, and it's set where there's a college girl, she needs money, she's going to this rural town, and there's a person that actually calls her up and says, hey, all we need you to do is just do one job, literally one job. One job is all you need to do, and that is to come and be a babysitter. Now, how hard is that? Being a babysitter, I've been a babysitter, and it was great. You get your little cash when you're like 14 or however young you are, and it's really fun. And you put that on your resume like, oh, I have responsibilities. Oh, I have all this. No, well, this girl, she's like, look, the rent's due. I need money for the next semester. I'll do anything it takes for me to make this money. And a babysitting job, how hard can it be? Until she gets the address, until her friend brings her out in the middle of nowhere, and she's like, oh, I'll be fine. Now, come on, girl. You know you are not going to be fine, but whatever. She gets there, she meets them, she's already having sort of a creepy Addams Family sort of vibe, but she takes it along anyway. Well, long story short, House of the Devil is a great horror classic film of what's going on with this family, and this family has secrets, and then I'm only starting to notice these creepy sounds, and I'm starting to get away. That type of horror classic, and I thought this was a great homage to it. I mean, I think it won some indie awards, I'm not too sure, but it was a great cast, great scene, and one of my favorites, I think, to watch. So go check out The House of the Devil. Okay, so I'm adding this new one to the list. It's called The Void. I just was literally clicking through, looking through. It's similar to like you see the cover of a comic book or you see the cover of a book and you're just like, oh, this cover looks great. Well, the cover on the streaming platforms for TUBI TV, thank you very much, TUBI TV, had a great picture. It just had The Void. You know, you read the synopsis, ooh, and everything looks good. And then I clicked on it and I was like, okay. Film-wise, this is looking really good. Kudos to you. I mean, it's looking very modern, very cool. And then it started with the sheriff is picking up someone on the side of the road. Okay, I'm following you. The sheriff goes into the hospital. Okay, I'm following you. And then all of a sudden it turned into something where these people dressed in these suits with like this little Squid Game sort of type deal and shapes, and I first I was like, okay, is some chemical something happening? I mean, they literally came in like some hazmat suits, and kudos to the art department and kudos to the costume department, because I thought, yeah, sure, these people in these hazmat suits, I mean, it looks sort of cultish, ritualistic-ish, and yeah, sure, no problem. Well, then I started getting into it, and it became like a sort of a mind scramble. I didn't know what was going on with this. I mean, I literally thought it was all psychosis. You know, I thought I had to go lay down on the couch and talk to Freud. Something was going on in my brain where I was like, if I was in this hospital situation, if I was the sheriff, I would literally just shoot them all. Like, literally, be done. Like, but no, he goes into the hospital, he stays there, then he's trying to protect the people. There's a girl about to have a baby. Then sort of, you know, all this family history stuff keeps coming up. It just seemed to be too much coming at me all at once. And then I saw the monsters. Okay. I thought I was in like a Silent Hill video game or the Silent Hill movie 1 and 2. And I was like, okay, Pyramid Head sort of ish, you know, not to get any copyright. This looks really good. Like, I thought this was actually going somewhere afterwards. Then you start following the movie and you start going, oh, I see what you did there. And I really enjoyed it. One of the things I did like about it, again, was the way that it depicted sort of this Silent Hill. It had like a lot of this like sort of gray and these blues and like, you know, the falling of the ash, you know, coming through for the scene. And then you had this guy who's like, oh, I'm so heartbroken when I lost my daughter, or I lost my daughter's grandchild, la 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 la. You know, death is not the final answer is what he says. And so as you can tell, he's grieving. Oh, he's grieving because, he's like, I don't accept it. I don't accept death. So he turns to the occult, and turning to the occult, of course, is going to make you sort of go a little on the flip side with a lot of things. So this is for you. So those who are looking for sort of an occultish type of movie that has literally no connection whatsoever with what's going on, but then you start to really listen and learn and like go into it, this is the movie for you. I can understand why it's called The Void, because you are void of understanding what's going on. But I will say that the look of the movie itself, kudos to you guys, as well as the ending. The ending kind of is not going to be a sequel, and you kind of know that, but it kind of maybe can be a sequel if somebody else feels like death is not the final answer. But, it's, yeah, no, it is. Sorry, it really is. But in this vein, this movie, I think it gets sort of a half thumbs up for me, but go check it out. Let me know in the comments, what did you think about The Void? Last but not least, one of my favorite horror films. Like, it is up there. Like, when I first saw this film, I thought to myself, ooh, why hasn't this been talked about? Why hasn't this won any awards? Who are these actors and who are these people? I thought to myself, I've got to watch this movie no matter what. It is 13 cents. That is right, 13 cents. And actually, 13 cents is like the first Squid Game / creme de la creme / I'm going to be doing something horrific just to win some prize money. So look out, Netflix. Look out, Korean horror. We made it first. That's right here in the good US of A with 13 cents. And I am really excited to talk about this film because it just had everything.
Hunter. Hello?
Congratulations! You have been selected to take part in a one-of-a-kind game show. All you have to do is complete 13 challenges. Swat the fly.
You're watching me now?
$1,000 will be instantly credited to your bank account.
That's it?
You have $90,000 in debt. You can't honestly even provide for your fiancé. We will make all your problems go away. Please press 1.
It had suspense, it had thriller, it had slash 'em and bag 'em and tag 'em. I mean, it had some really good actors in it as well. And I thought, this is it. This is going to be my weekend right here. So basically the basis of this film, basically someone is looking for some money. He needs to fund for his future wedding. His job is not going well. He's kind of not an aloof type kind of guy, but he is sort of your everyday average man. He's got bills. He's got a new wife. He's got a new kid on the way. He's got family problems. His dad's like a huge racist. He has a mentally retarded brother that he's trying to help. He's been in and out of hospitals and everything. He has the mind of like maybe an 8-year-old, but he's like a 27-year-old man's body, type deal. But he gets around. I mean, he does have the mental capacity to understand what is going on. And then we find out what really goes on with 13 Sins. Like, it's this secret occult that's been established since like Egyptian times. I mean, you really, watching opening sequences, you really do have to like literally watch opening sequences. They tell you a lot. So in these opening sequences, you start to see like these things have been happening since Egyptian times, Roman times, fast forward into like the turn of the century. I mean, the cotton gin was born and you're like, oh, these people are still playing these Squid Games. So I mean, it's a lot to take in. So you find out that within this occult, they choose random people to play this game. And of course, it's going to be like your dreams come true. And it's only by a cell phone that they contact you. And they make it enticing enough where they're like, not just I'm going to give you $100, not that I'm going to give you, $500. No, I'm going to give you $6,000, $10,000 for you to eat a fly. I'm going to eat a what? I'm gonna eat a what? I'm gonna eat a fly. Like literally, I killed a fly. $10,000 if you can stomach to eat a fly. So literally, this guy, and that's not the amount of money. I'm just letting you know that's just, you know, an example. But for $10,000, you sure gonna right, I'm gonna eat a fly. That's right. I'm gonna eat a fly. I'm gonna pretend like it's some burnt, crusty old Taco Bell meat that's stuck in there somewhere that's just been extra crispy. Yes, for $10,000. So this is what happens for the rest of the game. But then the games get more sinister. The games get a little bit more horrific, and the games get just a little bit more bloodier. I mean, just a little bit. So it's kind of helping the guy in a way stop being sort of aloof. He's kind of like, he's kind of afraid of what to do. You know, his life is in shambles. And so really this is giving him the courage to like be resourceful, to do things that he's never done before, as well as to see what the human condition can do under the right and horrific circumstances. Like, he literally has to go to this apartment. There's a dead guy in the apartment. Bring that dead body, dress him up almost like a Weekend at Bernie's, bring him back to the apartment, a place full of cops where they come get their donuts and their coffees and cream. And he literally has to sit next to them, or let's just say like in the booth behind them, and pretend that he's his friend. Now this guy stinks. I mean, he literally stinks. I mean, he's a dead body, and he has to find a resourceful way to keep that dead body sitting right there while the cops are right behind them. And he has to also be obnoxious about it. And he had to stay in the diner for at least for I think 20 minutes or so, or 30 minutes or so. And the waitress is just so obnoxious. She's so slow. She's like, well, we got this, we got this. He's like, I just want coffee, thanks. Well, we got this, I just want coffee, thanks. Well, what about our specials and pie? I don't care about your doggone specials and pie. Give me some coffee. I got to be here for the next 5 minutes, and I win this $12,000 prize. So basically, I mean, things just happen and it goes wrong. Well, he gets the money and he's starting to go up and go up. Well, there's some things that he really has to do, and I'm not mad about it, you know, because it's just hilarious and funny. But we also find out that another player has entered the game, and that player, at the very end, we find out what goes on. It's been a family history of the games. Not too much of a spoiler. It's not. I'm not spoiling it for you. Trust me, I'm not. But just to say, there's a family history of playing the games, and he's just now, you know, privy to the actual game itself. So long story short, go watch 13 Sins. I mean, it's got a great cast. It's got great situations. And if you really want to watch someone do something horrific for money, this is the movie for you. And I mean, it is incredible and fun. And then it makes you think, yes, I will eat that fly. So watch 13 Sins. I really recommend this, and it's streaming right now, right on Tubi. So this is my recommendation for you. Thanks guys so much for watching our horror reviews for the 4 movies that I talked about: The House of the Devil, 13 Sins, The Void, and It Follows. It's been a real treat, a real pleasure. Until next time, I will see you for the next round. Hopefully, I will tell you what my top 4 movies so far that I'm watching this week for either Netflix or for Crackle, or for YouTube, or for Roku channels. So stick with me next time, guys. I would love to see you right back here on the channel. Make sure that you hit that notification bell, subscribe, like, and share. And I will see you on the dark side next time. Take care, guys. Bye.